I am back with another What Sold. If you want to see what sold this past week, stay tuned.
Started small, now we grow. Watch the empire rise. Flipping churches, catching eyes. No surprise, we the prize. We got the deals that make you feel like royalty. 3 queens on the ground, respect and loyalty.
Welcome in, friends. It's Stephanie from 3 Queens Resale. If you are new here, I am a full-time reseller. What that means is I obtain clothing, shoes, and accessories from friends, family, Goodwills, estate sales, and all over. And I flip them online for profit on eBay, Poshmark, Depop, and Mercari. And that is my full-time hustle. And if you are interested in learning more about reselling, then you are in the right place. Today's video is a what sold video. I am going to go over all of my sales this week. I will let you know how long I've had the item and how much it sold for and any discounts. And I will drill it down to the amount of money that is going in my pocket to pay my bills. So I know sometimes people give out these huge numbers, but you gotta account for all the fees and shipping and all that. So we are going to get started with Saturday, September 21st. So on Saturday, we had 7 sales. So starting off with Poshmark, we had these Veronica Beard casual pants, size 6 blue. I've had these since, I'd had these and then they'd been relisted, like returned in a pile, relisted. You guys know the story. I've had them a long time. But they sold for $12 and after the $2.95 in fees, and then $9.05, I was left with $9.05, and they had been relisted since June 28th of 2023, so over a year. Next up was this Expressions cardigan sweater, size small. It's like that granny court aesthetic. It had been listed since June 24th. It sold for $25. After the $5, I was left with $20. Then moving on to Mercari, I sold these packed on-the-go leggings, green, size extra large. I had so many likes on all the platforms on these leggings, which just lets me know I had them priced a little high. They ended up selling on Mercari for $15.75. And since there are no fees for the sellers on Mercari, I get to keep all of that. And those had been listed since July 23rd. Then moving on to eBay, these Nike Dry Fit men's athletic shorts, size extra large. After all of the shipping fees, taxes, which I have on the screen, I ended up bringing home $17.43. And it's important to look at the order total versus what I got. Because I know a lot of resellers, when they give their numbers and their what solds, they are showing that top number, but that top number is the gross number, and I am sharing the net number, which in a lot of cases is almost half of the overall price. So people are not being transparent, and I want to have 100% transparency into my resale business. Next up was this Fossil reissue bag, vintage mahogany leather. It had been listed since August 10th. It sold for $145.17. I had it listed for like $180. Unfortunately, she has initiated a return, so she said it was dirty on the inside, which whatever, no it wasn't, and that there is a spot on the leather, which there is, but it is photographed, and I'm going to take it back. We do have returns on eBay. Buyer pays shipping, so once we get it back, I will get it relisted, and I'm still sticking with my same price point based on the comps, and I'll just make sure we zoom in on that spot, add another photo, and disclose that in writing in the listing as well. I'll use my new little shop vac to vacuum out the inside again, but I'm pretty sure it was good. So that was disappointing. That number is included in my numbers this week because I just found out this morning and I'd already done this last night. So I will back it out at the end of the month. Next up was this Gap Factory ankle length camo pant. It had been listed since July 3rd of 2023. Those are my pants. I wore them for years. And I'm cleaning out my closet a little at a time. And so I profited $9.34 after all of the fees. And then finally, we sold this Lucky Brand ankle booty in gray. It is booty and boot season. We are coming back upon that season. These had been listed since January 24th. I don't know why I took such a low. These sold for so little, but we only profited $10.71 on those, bringing our totals for the day. Poshmark, we had those two sales for a total of $29.05, and then Mercari, the one sale for $15.75. Then eBay, 4 sales for a total of $182.65, but we will lose that $145. And so the reason I keep pausing is because I'm not sure if I've already shared these numbers in my last What Sold video. I shouldn't have, so we should be good. I think I just labeled things wrong. And so the total for the day was $227.45. The average sale price was $34.49, but that bag really brought it up. And then the cost of goods was $12.53. That bag is a heartbreaker, but friends, I'm not even worried about it. I know it will sell again. And so our total of items sold for the month is 161, and our monthly total is $2,646.32. And our goal this month is $3,000. Now, keep in mind, I set a really low goal for September because we have a lot of other things going on, and August was just so dismal that I wanted to just give myself a fighting chance. But we will be back up to more interesting goal come October. Moving on to, let me make sure I did this right. So, the weekly total then was at $227.45. Yes, I did. I got a little confused. Sunday, September 22nd was a very good day. We had, as far as volume, we had 11 items sell. And so we'll start with Poshmark again. First of all, this Life is Good long sleeve tee, pink, size large sold. This brand does not disappoint. It never sells for a bunch between that $15 to $20 range, but it always sells relatively quickly for me. This one had only been listed since August 23rd, so right at 1 month. And I profited $14.40 after the fees. It sold for $18 after the $360. I was left with $14.40. Then next up, we'll dive into some eBay sales. And eBay is starting to be consistently my #1 platform, which that's what I was hoping for when I did my reseller reboot back in April. These REI Co-op Swiftland 7-inch running short. They had been listed since August 27th, and they sold for $10.32 is the profit that I made on those. Next up on eBay was this Blue and Gray long sleeve tunic, size large. Blue and Gray is sold at Loft, and I think it's like their Lounge Diffusion line. But I like it. It doesn't always resell for a lot, but if I find it at the bins, I will pick it up. It had been listed since June 24th, and after the shipping, taxes, and other fees, I was left with $18.69. So I was super happy about that. Next up were these pajama jeans, pull-on wide leg pants, size large. When I pulled these out of the bins, I looked up comps. Anything that is new to me, like I'm unfamiliar with the brand, I always look it up because that's how you find new bolos. And these, the sell-through rate was really, really good. I don't remember what it was, but it was good enough for me to be like, okay. And so I listed them. They've been listed since July 5th, and they sold for $18.30. So that's good on something that I wasn't even familiar with. Next up on eBay was this Gap Ditzy Floral Peasant Top size 2XL. I love finding plus size in those like mall brands like Gap, Banana Republic, because us large girls want those things too. And so this had been listed since August 1st, and it sold for $18.30 as well. Well, that was my profit, $18.30. Next up on eBay were these 7 high-rise ankle skinny size 14. These have been listed since January 30th, and I took a hit on these. I only made $4.04 in profit. My shipping might have been off, and sometimes when I don't charge enough for shipping, I eat that, and that comes straight out of my pocket. So that would be my number one advice to those of you who are selling on eBay. Make sure you weigh the items and have the correct item weight in your listing. That way there's a break even. If you're going to guesstimate, I would guesstimate a little bit heavier. That way you won't, if it is heavier, you won't lose any money. And if it isn't, you might make a few pennies, or you can easily refund the buyer the additional shipping. Next up, we have a Depop sale, this Fabletics tank top, size large. This was also one of mine. It's not even a tank top. It's like a sports bra thing. And I have one on right now, but I have to be really careful because I do not like, I need max compression when I'm working out, but I have sold so many sports bras on my platforms that I bought at least 10 since I've been reselling. I'm like Goldilocks. If it's too tight, I can't wear it. If it's too loose, I can't wear it. If it's too low cut, I can't wear it. And I just don't return those things. So I end up reselling them. So I was happy to get $15.32 in profit for this one. Next up, another eBay sale. We had this Joie short sleeve blouse. It was 100% silk, extra small. I only picked it up because it was 100% silk. I'm really trying to be very, very particular about my extra smalls just because they can sit forever. That had been listed since April 22nd, and I made a profit of $12.74. Then finally, no, not finally, I have 2 more on this sheet. I forgot. This cabby green blazer size large had been listed since August 12th. This was stunning. I love a jewel tone pop of color, especially heading into fall for like career casual or even like a corporate baddie look. And this green blazer was chef's kiss, and it was knit, so it had some stretch for us broad shoulder girls like myself. After all the fees and everything, my profit on that was $18.72. And then we had this Old Navy denim jacket, size large. It had been listed since January 2nd, and my profit on that was $7.42. I think I'm going to quit picking up Old Navy denim jackets. I know I love a good denim jacket, and it's hard to leave them in the bins, but they just are not selling for as much as I want them to, and they are heavy in the bins, so I would rather just leave them behind. Not all denim jackets, because you guys know I have a love for them, but just the Old Navy ones. Next up was this Laundry by Shelly Segal 3/4 length sleeve knit dress. This dress has been listed since February 26th, and that was a Depop sale, and my profit on that came to $23.82. So I was pretty excited about that. My numbers for the day are a little skewed because I added that Depop in with my eBay. So I'm just going to give them to you as I have them written down because the totals work out right. On Poshmark, we had that one sale for $14.40. Then on eBay, we had another 10 sales, really 9 because one of them was a Depop, but 10 total, including Depop, for $147.67, bringing the daily total to $162.07 for the 11 items. The average sale price was $14.73. Cost of goods was $14, and the total for the week is wrong. Hold on. So I just double checked my numbers. So the weekly total is $389.52. We've sold 172 items. The goal is 300. And then for the month so far, we're at 2808 and 39 cents. So 93% towards the goal. Moving on to Monday, we had 8 sales. Starting off with Poshmark, we had one sale on Poshmark, these Keen Kids sweater boots, purple and black, size 4. Friends, I've had these for 6 years. I've just have. They've sold a couple of times. I didn't know where they were. I found them. I didn't list them. So when someone offered me these, I took it. So they have officially been listed again since November 20th, 2023. But I had them since 2019. And I took an offer for $10 after the $2.95 in fees. I was left with $7.05. I probably could have countered, but I was just glad to get them gone. And that's the thing with kids' items. They can kind of like sit, and I don't want things to sit. So I'm trying to be very, very selective on what kids' items that we list moving forward. The rest of the day was on eBay, and it was a lot of my items that I put up for auction. So I'll go through that, but I just want to review what is happening. So I do a Posh show every Friday, and the things that don't sell, I am using List Perfectly to cross list to eBay. And I'm just setting up for most of it. For the first 2 weeks, most of it was I just put it in on auction on eBay. Since then, I do some auctions and some buy it now. It just depends on the item. But the hope is that the item will be gone in a week, and so that it will not like clog up my racks behind me, and I can continue to bring in like fresh inventory on my Posh shows. So these are some things that didn't sell, and I'll tell you each one as we go in the Posh shows. So it was listed on eBay. So first up was this Taured Black Sleeveless Blouse 0X. After all of the fees and shipping and all that, I ended up profiting $1.67. Next up was this Free People V-neck knit sweater tunic. It was missing a ribbon that you thread through it, but it was a size medium, which it's really hard to find Free People in any size other than extra small or small. So I was glad to find that. After all the fees and everything, and even with that flaw, I profited $4.37, which is about what I would have profited if it sold for $8 on Poshmark in the Posh show. Next up was this Taured Purple Roll Tab Sleeve Blouse. It was a 2X. After all the fees and everything, I profited $3.27. Then we had this new tag plaid Sherpa line jacket, and it was pretty heavy. Once again, I messed up on shipping. I'm getting better though, but I made $2.82 on that. Then on this J. Jill Everywhere dress, medium black, after all the fees and shipping, I profited $6.89. And then these Lululemon leggings, size 4. After all of the fees and shipping, my profit on those was $13.19. Those 6 items were all auction items, and on the Posh Show that didn't sell, so I put them on auction on eBay, just the 7-day auction. I started them at whatever the suggested start price is. If the suggested start price is $1, $3 is my minimum, friends. And then I notice on eBay that the auction doesn't really pick up till the last day. So I'm probably going to move from a 7-day to a 5-day auction, because I do my auctions every Friday. And that way, if they are set to go on Saturday, then by the next Friday, I can take out the things that have sold, and then re-auction them on Posh Shows and add my new one. P.S. On my Posh Shows, my tray now holds 100 items. So I want to keep bringing 50 new items each week, but not have more than 50 left over from the weeks before. So I really want to cycle through those items. The last sale today was a full price sale on eBay. It was this Columbia Alpine Action Insulated Kids Hooded Zip-Up Coat, green and gray, size 5. So it sold after all of the fees and discounts and all that. I was left with $23.89 for that, and that had been listed since May 27th. So my totals for the day: Poshmark was $7.05 for the 1 sale. eBay was $56.08 for the 7 sales, and then the total was $63.13. And so that brings our weekly total to $452.63. 180 items sold, and then the monthly total was $2,871.52. I didn't do an average sale price, but what's 8 divided by, let's see, it's lower, in that $9 range, $8 range, it looks like. But I expected it to be lower with all of those auction items coming through today. So it is what it is. I'm happy to be moving things. And one of my issues with Poshmark, Posh Shows and whatnot was that I would start the items that I start in those shows, and you should come. If I have them linked down below. My Posh Show is Fridays 3 p.m. Eastern, so just pop in, say hi. But those are items, brands that I don't necessarily list, but they are good pieces. They are sourced from the bins, or sometimes even just older items in my inventory that I've had for a while and I want to kind of clearance out. So I run them on auction starting on about $8 is where they normally start, and then kind of go from there. But they're great quality pieces. I just don't want to hang on to a lot of things. I'd rather just move it, get the money, and reinvest in something else that I find at the bins. Moving on to Tuesday, September 4th, this was our slow day for the week with 3 sales. On Poshmark, we sold this Maurice's cardigan sweater, size large. So this is an example. This is one of my Posh Show items. So the Posh Show items are listed on Poshmark and on eBay. Those are the only 2 places I have them listed, is on Poshmark and my eBay, because I didn't want my husband to have to manage this auction thing that I'm doing, because he does so much else. So I only put them on those 2 places. And so, but this is an auction item that sold on Poshmark for regular price. So it sold for $16 after the $3.20 in fees. I was left with $12.80, and that is a benefit to listing on Poshmark versus whatnot, because they are listed on Poshmark. So even if they don't sell on the auction, they have an opportunity to sell throughout the week just naturally on their own. Next up on Poshmark was this soft surrounding Sharon short sleeve tunic, size 2X. This had been listed since June 21st. I picked this up when we were in Marco Island in that tropical depression. I did a video of it. I was in like the only thrift store that was on Marco Island, and I found the like $1, $2, $3 section, and this was an item that I picked up. So it sold for $15. After the $3 in fees, I was left with $12. Then on eBay, this Torrid studio casual pant, black, size 22, sold. And after all the fees, I was left with $12.65. Most Torrid basics don't sell for a lot of money for me. I still pick up Torrid because people are looking for it, and it is one of the trendier plus size brands that had been listed since May 1st, and so I was happy to see it go. So our totals for the day: Poshmark $24.80 for the 2 items, and then eBay $12.65 for the 1 item, with a total of $37.45 for the day, bringing our cost of good or average sale price to, let me do some math, about $12.50. And for the week, we are at $490.02 with 183 items sold. And then for the month, we are at $2908.97, getting very close to that $3,000 in my pocket. Moving on to Wednesday, September 25th. On Poshmark, we sold this Harrods long sleeve cardigan sweater, size orange. It was thick and chunky. It had been listed since January 22nd of 2022. So I was actually happy to see this one go ahead and scooch out. Sometimes when I buy those off-brand knit pieces and I price them too high, they sit for a long time. So I'm learning, friends. I'm definitely, since my reseller reboot in April, definitely looking at the comps and the suggested prices and just leaving a small margin for discounts. I don't mark things up way high anymore like I used to. Next up on Poshmark was this J. Crew maxi dress, blue, size small. And on this day, Wednesday, I sent out offers to likers on, I think, about 300 items for 50% off. So I was hoping for a bigger day than I had, but we were able to move some of these older pieces that had also been listed since October of 2022. It sold for $13. After the $2.95 in fees, I was left with $10.05. And I noticed that the things that did sell for 50% off were those smaller sizes. Like, they had likes on them, but people didn't pull the trigger. But then here we are. Next up, this is one of our sell-through Sunday items, and it is this Nike Tri-Fit 3/4 sleeve athletic top, size medium. It has been listed since July 22nd, and it sold for $10. After the $2.95 in fees, I was left with $7.05. Also on Poshmark were these LuLaRoe leggings, the tall and curvy. They had also been listed since November 21st of 2022. They sold for $7. After the $2.95 in fees, I was left with $4.05. Then on Poshmark, again, we had this Dick and Jane new with tag sweater, size small. It was an open cardigan, and it had been listed since July 6th. It sold for $12. After the $2.95 in fees, I was left with $9.05. Then we had these Bear Paw ankle boots, black, size 9. They had been listed since August 10th. They were in excellent pre-owned condition. They sold for $40. After the $8 in fees, I was left with $32. On eBay, we had this pink Victoria's Secret long sleeve top, size small, sell on auction, and my profit after all the fees on that was $1.69. And then on eBay, we had this Jess Jane knit top large with this red wine graphic. It had been listed since July 30th and it sold for $25.32. So for the day on Poshmark, we had 6 sales at a total of $74.20. On eBay, we had 2 sales for $27.01. The total for the day was $101.21 for the 8 items, and that is an average sale price of about $15 an item. For our weekly totals, we're at $591.23 for the week. I'd like to try to make about 800 a week. And then the items are at 191 out of 300. And then we did end up hitting our monthly goal where we are sitting at $3,010.18. Moving on to Thursday, October 26th. This day we had 7 sales. So we sold these quirky casual slide sandals, black size 9. This was a holdover from yesterday's offers or Wednesday's offers. And they had been listed since January 4th of 2022. These were mine. I just thought they did not stay on my feet right. The cross straps were not tight enough. And so those ended up selling on a 50% offer. I made $8, or they sold for $8. After the $2.95 in fees, I was left with $5.05. Then next up on Poshmark, we had this Patagonia Chinchilla Snap Tee Pullover, size medium. This was gifted to me by my daughter's friend, Alice. Alice, if you're watching, hey girl, hey. She is so sweet, and her and my daughter have been besties since about 5th grade, and she always gives me things when she's done with them and is super supportive of my reselling business. So this sold for $52. After the $10.40 in fees, I was left with $41.60. Then we sold this Gap Rosie Pope maternity long sleeve dress, extra small. It sold on eBay, and after all of the fees, the profit was $2. That is another piece that I have had a lifetime. So I would have given it away. Next up was this Mark Maneri 544 cardigan, black size large. It had been listed since June 4th, and after all of the shipping, the fees, and all that, we profited $19.92. Next up on eBay was this Lane Bryant button down, size 14-16. I noticed in the Lane Bryant pieces, the 14s, 16s, and 18s are slow movers. So it's one of those things, it's like, but I still feel like there's a market for that size, but I definitely have to be careful about what I pick up. This had been listed since April 15th, and my profit was $15.54. Then next up, we had this Fresh Produce shirt jacket, size 2XL. It had been listed since November 11th of 2022. So it was at 60% off in our eBay store. And after all of the taxes, fees, all that, the profit on that was $5.57. And then finally on eBay this day, we sold these Lands in Squall Snow Pant Kids size 8. And they had been listed since March 12th. My take home on those was $12.97. So for the day, friends, Poshmark, we had 2 sales, $46.65 for both of those. eBay, we had 5 sales for $56. And our total for the day was $102.65 for the 7 items. So let's see, I got to do some quick math. So the average sale price was $15.36 for those items. On the month, or for the week, we were at $693.88, and we have at 198 items. And then for the month, we are at $3,111.83. Our last day of the week is Friday, September 27th. And this day we had a total of 5 sales. First off was this Van Heusen men's crew neck knit sweater. It was my grandpa core aesthetic. It had been listed since September 24th, so only 3 days, friends. It sold for $21 after the $4.20 in fees. I was left with $16.80. Then on eBay, we had these Spirit topsider loafers. And I don't know why I didn't write the dates down on this, but they were size 6.5. And after all the fees, I profited $5.68. I am not picking up Sperry's anymore. They just do not sell. So, yeah. Next up was this Eileen Fisher Merino turtleneck wool size large. I don't have the date, but I know I've listed this within the last month. And after all of the fees and everything, I had a profit of $33.32. Then on eBay, this Pelly Pel vintage black bomber jacket, like varsity jacket, size extra large, had been listed since July 30th. And it sold for $100, but after all of the fees, I was left with $86.33. And then on eBay, this Yarnworks Christmas holiday cardigan, it had been listed on the 24th. And so it sold in 3 days. And my profit on that was $14.38. I debated on waiting, declining the offer. But then I was like, this holiday stuff has such a short window of time. And it wasn't that far off the comps, the low end of the comps, that I just took it. Next up are totals for the day. Poshmark, we had $16.80 for the one sale. And then eBay, $139.71 for the 4 sales. And our total was $156.51. The average sale price was $31.60, but that jacket really skewed the pricing for the day. And then for the week, we are at $850.39. We were at 203 items sold out of 300. And then for the month, we're at $3,269.34. So we just have 3 days left in the month. So hopefully we'll have a good next 3 days. I don't think it's going to be good enough to sell 97 items to make my item goal, but I am pretty satisfied with the month thus far. If you like what sold videos, be sure to give this one a like so that YouTube knows that, and it will add more into your feed. It not only supports my channel, but other resellers who do content like this as well. Be sure to like, interact, engage with the video. Let me know down in the comments below how your week went. And friends, I will see you in the next one.
Catching eyes, no surprise, we the prize. We got the deals that make you feel like royalty. 3 queens on the ground, respect and loyalty.